would like to introduce Rabbi Zishe Novoseller to make some introductory remarks and introduce our first speaker.
Thank you all for coming. I have a son in Israel, and more importantly, 4 grandchildren there. And at the height of the last war, I received an email from him that said, "Tati and Mommy, I know very well that you're worried and you're davening for us. I appreciate it, my wife appreciates it, and my children appreciate it. But you should know that I am in Eretz Yisrael with my family. I am in the safest place in the universe. I understand that you're in America. Pack your bags and come here if you want to be safe. There might be bombs flying overhead, but it's the only place in the universe that the Rabbanu Shalom said, Einei Hashem, the eyes of Hashem, are looking at Eretz Yisrael, mitchilas hashana ad sofa, straight through the year. So if you want divine protection, please pack your bags and come here. There's enough room for everyone." So with such a strong thing, it gets you starting to think. I guess there's no Jew outside of Israel that isn't thinking about how to get their families moved to Israel. I know very well all of the complications with children and grandchildren and parents at the same time here in America. But I'm hoping that all of us will find a way to go there. I don't know of any convention like this that was forethought to be able to present what we are presenting here tonight, and that is an opportunity to hear about investing in Israel, either for yourself, your family, or as a financial investment, and also to be able to interact with some questions. So I'm going to introduce the Getter Group. Mr. Shia Getter is the CEO of the Getter Group. He's already written 2 books, 2 big sellers on investing in real estate in Israel. And he brought along with him Mr. Luki Gigi, who is the property specialist of Getter. So the Seder for the next half an hour, 40 minutes, is that Shia Getter is going to give us some introductory remarks for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to take questions. I also have 14 questions that I prepared that I think will cover everyone, but we'll have enough time for any questions you want to have as well. So please give us your full attention, and I hope that we'll all grow from this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction, Reb Zishe. Time to come home is now. Everyone knows and everyone feels the same. The time to buy in Israel is now. With all the Semitism going around in the world, I was last week in France. I had a very successful trip. I had so many people talking to me in France about making Aliyah, buying in Israel, or I'm originally from London, and here in America, the same thing. Everyone understands that at least you should have a place in Israel so you know the place that you have that you can fall back on. And my message tonight to everyone, this evening to everyone, is to say that yes, we can. Everyone can have a space in Israel. Everyone can have a deer in Israel. And this is my mission. My mission for the last 20 years was and is to help people who want to invest in Israel or to want to move to Israel or buy in Israel to make sure that they do it the right way. I want to share with you a personal story, how this came to me. When I was a bucher in Israel, I was learning in yeshiva there. My family were all in England, and I was there learning. And there's a skiller to go to daven at the Koisel 40 days for something specific. So I did the 40 days in the Koisel, and my tefillah to Hashem was that Hashem should help me, I should find the shidduch in Israel, and I should manage to stay to live in Israel. And Hashem helped me that. And I realized that Hashem not only gave me the opportunity to live in Israel, but Hashem also gave me the opportunity to help people who want to move to Israel, to help people who want to buy and invest in Israel, to do that. To invest in your future, and to invest in our nation's future, and to invest in our own future. So I know many people think, it's nice, everyone wants to have something in Israel, but it's so expensive, we can't afford it. So I'm here to tell you that everyone can afford something. Just reach out and you'll hear there's so many different options, so many different places that you can afford it. That's one aspect. Another thing is that I know that many people have heard, especially people here in the real estate field, that people have heard so many horror stories about people buying in Israel and ending up losing money or ending up paying much more than what you were supposed to pay. I know many people think that when they come to Israel and they take a taxi from Ben Gurion Airport to Yerushalayim and they speak in English, they would pay more than an Israeli calls a taxi and speaks in Hebrew. So this is what we do. We represent people who want to buy, who want to invest, to make sure that they do it correctly. And I've seen so many different stories that people who thought that they could do it on their own, and they made a lot of mistakes. And this is what I helped from the 20 years of experience to guide people throughout the way. We call ourselves your bridge home. There's a long bridge that you have to cross when you come from America and you want to invest in Israel. And we guide people, we help them throughout each step to make sure that it's done correctly. The first point is when it comes to negotiation. You have to know how to negotiate in the Middle East. It's different than negotiating here, and everything is negotiable. But sometimes people try to target the price. They see a price tag and they ask for a discount, and not always that's the right place to target, because sometimes if the seller is stuck on a certain price, there's so many other things that you can negotiate that's nothing to do with the price, and you'll get much more value for your money, whether it's negotiating additional storage, negotiating a different parking, air conditions. There's so many things that you get included in the price. That's something that even in all other fields, even in America, not always to focus on negotiating on the price. See, sometimes the price is a psychological thing. The seller wants to be able to come to shul and say he sold us for this price. Or if it's a company which is on the stock market, so they have to file the prices that they're selling it for. But they don't have to necessarily report everything that they give to the buyer within that price. So it's important to take in consideration there's more things to negotiate. Then the next step is going through the contract. There's a barrier of language difference between here and Israel. You have a contract in Hebrew, which you have to understand. And we help our clients negotiate, read the contract and understand the nuances of the contract. Not always a lawyer is enough. The lawyer sits in his office and he sees the documents. He doesn't see the big picture of who is involved, with who it's involved, and knowing how to make sure that all the different points are inputted into the contract. With the 20 years of experience that we have put together a whole list of things that we make sure to input into contracts to help our clients. I'll say in a small example which makes a big difference. When a person is late with a payment, usually if it's 14 days or 21 days late with a payment, there's a breach of contract and he might lose his deposit. This is a tip that everyone can take in their field. What I add into the contract is that even if a person is late, he has to get a letter from the lawyer stating that you're late in the contract, and you have to fix it within 7 days. This gives more time for the person to fix the issue. And at the same time, if you are communicating with a seller, so it doesn't straight away go and send that letter, whether if you wouldn't have had that clause, so it doesn't make a difference. Even if you're communicating, he can always say, you're in breach of contract, you lost the deposit. So that's a small tip that you can take home. The next step is most people, when they come to buy a property in Israel, they buy pre-construction, and there's options to change the layout. There's options to add windows, to choose your tiles. There's the whole route that they have to go through when they when they buy their dira. So we help our clients to make sure that they know who to choose, they know how to choose, which designer to take. It's very important to do the whole process properly. And then afterwards, the last stage is when you're supposed to get the key. So when you're supposed to get the key, there as well, some people would run, the developer would call, the apartment is ready, come and take your key. So there also you have to bring an engineer to make sure that it's done correctly. Sometimes there's rent to collect. If the developer is late with a handover, he has to pay rent. So this is also something that we make sure that our clients get. So this is like, in a nutshell, the process that people have to go through, which we take through everyone through the process. And as I said before, it's doable for everyone, and now is really the time also when people see what's going on, to diversify the portfolio, to make sure that you're not only investing in New York or in America, you're also investing in other places, especially in a place like Israel where the prices are continuing to go up. People make high returns on their money, so that's the time to do it now. Now, I know many people think, I know some Hebrew, I have a cousin, I have a friend, I know a rabbi, I can manage myself. So it actually pains me personally to see when people think that they can do it on their own, and when I can watch different stories that happen. Let's say I had 2 stories recently. One person called me after he almost closed on an apartment. He had his apartment that he wanted. He already negotiated the price. He already took a lawyer. He just wanted me to make sure that everything is okay and finish off the deal. When I came in, I realized that he wanted to buy a dira that does not have a CFO. And the lawyer didn't realize that. It's an apartment that was already built 10 years ago. No one's thinking to look at it, and we realized that. So this is an example of what you have to look out for. Or I had a client that got a bill from a development company, the way he bought an apartment, and the lawyer approved the bill. You go and pay it, and the price was 120,000 shekel more. The bill was 120,000 shekel more than what he was supposed to pay. So there are horror stories and there are pitfalls that people fall in. But I'm here to tell you that if you do it the right way and you do it with the right people, you can be very successful. Coming here, I made a calculation together with my property expert, Luki. We have a client that bought an apartment about 2.5 years ago, and he's tight in money. He has to sell it now. We calculated that he's making 50%, 5 or 50%, on the money that he invested in only 2.5 years. That's like 20% a year, and we have clients that have made much more than that. From our calculations, the ROI in Israel is somewhere between 25% and 40 to 45% on the investment. It's not cash flow investment, but it's more capital growth. Now, when someone wants to buy an apartment in a different place, or you want to invest in a different place, the most important thing that you need is peace of mind. You have enough headaches here in the business that you're doing with, and if you're investing in a new area, in a new place, one thing which is the most important for you is to have peace of mind. And there's no value for peace of mind. Peace of mind, a person would pay all money to know that he has peace of mind. And this is what we make sure, that you do it, you invest in Israel, you buy in Israel with peace of mind. I want everyone here to visualize themselves, to see themselves owning something in Israel, building Israel, building our future, building our kids' future. Visualize yourself that you have something in Israel. This night that you came here, you thought maybe you're coming here to speak about, to hear about real estate in America. Now you're hearing about real estate in Israel. It might be the night that you'll always remember for good. That is the night that you took a decision to take one step forward to owning something in Israel. I have a card which I'll give out soon. Write down your email. Send us an email if you're serious. If you're only thinking about one day buying in Israel, let's be in touch and let's do something.
1, 2. I'm going to start with some questions, and then we'll take some other questions from the field. Maybe,
Look, you see,
Luki, maybe you'll go first. Okay. Where are you seeing people investing these days? What new or unusual projects are on the market in Israel?
So first of all, just introduce myself a little bit. My name is Luki Gigi. I actually was born in Miami Beach. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. I bet you didn't think that you were going to be hearing about property in Israel from somebody from Tennessee, but Hashem works in mysterious ways. I just want to say, like, it's not only Mr. Getter's passion, it's the passion of the whole Getter group to help Yidden come to Israel, buy in Eretz Yisrael. Now is mamish the time. I think that we see all eyes are in Eretz Yisrael, not just Jews, CNN, Fox, Iranian news, French news, German news, they're all looking at Eretz Yisrael. And I think that that's a sign for all of us to realize what's really going on in this world. Hashem is showing us that this is the time. And on top of that, I think that we have an opportunity that 2,000 years of Yidden didn't have. We actually can buy in Eretz Yisrael. Yes, it costs a little bit of geld. I'm not going to deny that. But you actually have the ability to do it because your grandparents and your great-grandparents didn't. So I just think that that's it's my driving force, at least. So now let's get back to the question.
Okay, the question is...
No, I remember. Okay. The question is about in terms of certain opportunities in Eretz Yisrael. So honestly, there are opportunities all over Eretz Yisrael. Each deal is its own deal. We're seeing a lot of people looking to buy in Beit Shemesh. There's a new neighborhood being built in Beit Shemesh where you can get very good deals. We ourselves found, we have different deals that get brought to us because developers know who we are, know who we work with. They like our clients. They like the way that we work. So we're happy to share different deals in terms of a general atmosphere of where I see Anglos buying and where our clients have been buying. Yerushalayim is always number one, but Yerushalayim comes with a little bit of a higher price tag. So people are also looking up in Tzfas and also Beit Shemesh, I think, are two of the places where people are looking to buy and invest right now. Those aren't necessarily the most exciting opportunities. Right now, we also have an opportunity in Beitar, especially for people that are foreigners. You don't have to pay purchase tax. And on
Can
top
we
of
buy
that,
in Gaza?
what?
Can we buy in Gaza yet?
Actually, you should know that in terms of, first of all, hopefully soon, but you should know that actually around the Gaza Strip is actually one of the places where the prices have gone up the most. Since the wars started in 2008, there have been, a war every 2 years, every 3 years, with rockets and everything, the whole nine. Prices have gone up over 300%. If you look Sderot, what people bought at in the early 2000s, if you look what people bought at and you see what they're buying at now in Sderot and in Beersheba and these areas around the Gaza Strip, you'd be very surprised. It's actually pretty shocking. I think it's one of the miracles of Hashem, that it doesn't matter whether there's war or peace or whatever. Honestly, the places where there's the most war is actually where you see the prices going up the most, percentage-wise. Everything's based on
Okay.
ROI.
How
you have
is
to be-
investing in Israel different from investing in America?
So from my perspective, and my shver's a land developer here in New York, New Jersey area, whatever, and I helped him buy his place, Baruch Hashem in Yerushalayim. And when I speak about his investments here, and when I speak to other people that are looking to invest in Eretz Yisrael that have investments here in America, I think there's a big search for a quick buck. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's a lot of buying in order to refinance. There's a lot of buying properties that aren't necessarily going to go up in value, but you see that you can get good rents. Eretz Yisrael is totally different. In Eretz Yisrael, you're buying something, and you're going to wait a little bit longer, but generally speaking, your capital growth is going to be much higher in whatever you buy. And we've seen it over and over again. I can tell you personally, my wife and I, we bought our place on the beach in Akko. It's gone up almost 100% in 3 or 4 years. And you can see it all over the place. We're happy to share tons of stories, like the story that Mr. Getter just told about our client that bought in the heart of Yerushalayim, which in general is a harder place to see your money grow as fast because the prices were already as high. But if you buy in places that are a little bit more in the periphery and things like that, generally speaking, the ROI is higher because you buy at a lower price. So when it goes up at a similar rate, you end up actually making more money on your investment.
Are there investments in Israel today that generate cash flow? What are the best places to buy if I'm looking for a good short-term ROI?
So, sort of like what I just said before, there's not so many cash flow deals. It doesn't mean that there's not any. There are certain places, you know, I found certain one-bedrooms in Yerushalayim where you can get good cash flow based on what you're putting in. And for example, my apartment, places on the beach, there are places also in the areas around Tel Aviv. We can discuss further if people are interested in those type of deals. In general, that's not the main focus when investing in Yerushalayim. I mean, in Eretz Yisrael, but there are deals like that. I'd be happy to discuss.
What locations do you recommend that someone looking for long-term capital growth should look at?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different places. Right now, there's a very interesting deal in the heart of Yerushalayim. Basically, there's a law regulations have been passed that have changed areas where you can build. So they've changed like the areas around the airport of Tel Aviv called Sde Dov. They also did this in Eilat. I actually think the Eilat projects are more advanced, but I actually think it's a pretty good investment personally. But there's one in particular where the airport in Herzliya that I'd be happy to discuss afterwards, and it's also a very good opportunity, for long term. But it's a very long term deal.
If I have $250,000 in cash to put down, what kind of properties or locations could I consider?
Yeah, so we've had a few clients that have bought in the Beit Shemesh area with that amount of money to put down, and also up north, like around the Tzfat area, you can get something very, very nice for even less than that. So that for about $250,000, you can get something in those areas.
Shia, can I ask you a question?
Yes, let's try.
Okay. Do you see anything different about how the current war is affecting the property market compared to previous wars?
So if you look on history, every time after war, prices went up. You just go back in history, I have a chart, I see after every war, prices went up. So I see the same, after this war, the price is also going to go up. The difference in this war is that because the last 2 years, there's a lack of workers, a lack of Palestinian workers, so the supply, the amount of building is less, and the demand is the same. So the gap between the demand and the supply is only growing. So that's why the prices will keep on going up.
Are there discounts available for those buying multiple properties? Is there any advantage to purchasing multiple properties in a group of people?
So in most cases, because we don't represent the developers, we represent only the buyers. We buy as advocates, so we always find good deals for our clients. In most cases, we find a few people that invest in one place together. We always manage to bring discounts to our clients.
Where can I find a private house with a garden and a pool in Israel?
That's a good question. Where you can find
Now we're talking.
Private house with a pool. Okay, so there's a few options you can buy. And we have clients that have bought in Tzfat, nice houses with pools. We have outside of Bet Shemesh, in Netanya. There's many different options. Kisaria, well, that's expensive, but you can also have in other places.
What are your top tips for foreigners buying property in Israel?
Top tips, first of all, to buy with a Getter group. And the most important thing is have someone on the ground that will fight for you, that will be for you there.
Many people have a deep emotional connection to places in Israel, specific places that are meaningful to them. How do you help clients balance sentiment with smart investment choices?
So there's sometimes a confusion. Some people come to us and they say they want to have an apartment for themselves, for their kids, for when they retire. On the other hand, they want a good investment. So if you try to combine the two together to make a good investment and also have a place for yourself, so not always it works well together. Even though that was the story I said before, the person who's selling now, he bought in the heart of Yerushalayim and he's making 50% on his money within 2 years, 2.5 years. But in most cases, we have to juggle it. What's more important for you? Is the investment part more important for you, or the place for your own? Because that's the place that you'll want to live in. But in general, wherever you buy is good.
Besides calling the Getter Group, what's the number one piece of advice you have for someone thinking about purchasing property in Israel?
as I said before, to have people on the ground, not to do it on your own. And don't do it with any cousin, with any friend, with any family.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Jules?
People
What are
only
the
speak-
neighborhoods for people that only speak English?
There are many areas. In Jerusalem, you have Shia Chesed, you have Rechavia, and you have in Ranana, in Netanya, Modi'in, Bet Shemesh, Hashmonaim, all
More
over.
people speak English in Israel than Hebrew. Maybe. Any other questions?
Actually, I was worried last week when I was in France. I was worried, like, if I'll manage there, what language I'll speak. And I saw with everyone I spoke in Hebrew. They all knew Hebrew very well.
I want to remind everyone that there are cards up here on the table that you can fill out and be in touch with the Getter group. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just say if you got any piece of information or anything that you found somewhat valuable, you're thinking about buying something in Eretz Yisrael, I very, very highly recommend adding your name. We'll go around and